Welcome to the Optimal Response Initiative ORI podcast, thriving one optimal response at a time. I'm your host, Dr. Christina Seymour, U.S. Air Force veteran, clinical psychologist, and creator of the Optimal Response Initiative programs and workbooks. Today, we're diving into a powerful truth that bridges neuroscience, creativity, and real-world healing. Optimal responding sparks creativity, reducing mental fatigue from chronic issues. Physically, it supports neuroplasticity for better pain management. And for those in the world of songwriting, especially our Operation Song family, turning stories into songs is a beautiful way to respond optimally and heal. This episode is short, so grab a comfortable seat, maybe your favorite playlist in the background, and let's explore how shifting from knee-jerk reactions to deliberate, optimal responses can transform your mind, body, and spirit. Let's start with the core idea of ORI. Between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space lies our power to choose our response, and in our response lies our growth and our freedom. This comes straight from Viktor Frankl, and it's the heartbeat of everything we do in ORI. When life throws a chronic challenge, whether it's post-traumatic stress symptoms, persistent pain, depression, a tough life transition, or the daily grind, most of us default to survival mode. Fight, flight, or freeze, or fawn. The automatic response keeps us stuck in loops of mental fatigue, exhaustion, and rumination. The brain gets wired for threat detection, and creativity, it shuts down. Why? Because survival mode hijacks the prefrontal cortex, the part of our brain responsible for flexible thinking, problem solving, and innovation. But when we train ourselves to pause in that space and choose an optimal response, one that's deliberate, compassionate, and aligned with our values, something remarkable happens. We spark creativity. Why? Because optimal responding lowers the stress hormones like cortisol that fog the mind. It creates mental bandwidth. Suddenly, instead of mental fatigue, we have energy for divergent thinking, generating new ideas, reframing problems, seeing possibilities where we once saw only barriers. Research supports this. Creative arts interventions, including music and songwriting, have been shown to significantly reduce perceived stress and improve stress management in multiple studies. Over 80% of reviewed interventions demonstrated positive effects. When we respond optimally to stressors, we engage neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to rewire itself. This isn't just feel-good talk, it's physiology. Lower chronic stress preserves and enhances neural connections in areas of the brain like the hippocampus and prefrontal cortex, reducing mental exhaustion and opening the door to creative flow. Now let's talk physical health, especially for those living with chronic pain. Chronic pain often becomes a self-perpetuating cycle. Pain triggers stress. Stress amplifies pain perception, and the brain literally rewires to become more sensitive to pain signals, a process called central sensitization. Optimal responding interrupts that cycle by choosing responses that include breathwork, self-compassion, movement, or creative outlets. We modulate the nervous system. We shift from sympathetic dominance, the fight or flight, to parasympathetic restoration, rest and digest. This supports neuroplasticity in pain processing regions, helping the brain unlearn heightened pain sensitivity over time. Music therapy in particular is powerful here. Listening to or creating music activates multiple brain areas simultaneously: the amygdala for emotion, hippocampus for memory, motor cortex for movement. This engagement promotes neuroplastic changes that can reduce pain perception and improve emotional regulation. Studies show music interventions lower pain ratings, modulate responses in cortical and subcortical pain networks, and even trigger endorphin and oxytocin release for natural pain relief. For chronic pain warriors, this means real, measurable relief, not just distraction, but rewiring. And this is where songwriting shines, especially in programs like Operation Song. Operation Song pairs veterans, service members, and family members with professional songwriters to transform personal stories, often painful, traumatic ones, into powerful songs. No musical experience required, just a willingness to share. What happens in those sessions is profound. Participants move from avoidance or suppression, common in post-traumatic stress, to active creative expression. They respond optimally to their own history, not by denying it, but by shaping it into a powerful story for connection. Research on songwriting for veterans shows remarkable outcomes. Reduced post-traumatic stress symptoms by up to 33%, depression by 22%, and improved quality of life. One veteran shared after a session, "It opened a crack in my mind that no other therapy reached." Another described feeling like my old self again, free with purpose. Why does this work? Because songwriting demands optimal responding. You face the pain, the stimulus, you pause in the space, you gather the emotional intel, and you choose to create something meaningful, the response. This process reduces mental fatigue by giving narrative coherence to fragmented memories. It sparks creativity, which releases dopamine and serotonin. And physically, it supports neuroplasticity, reconnecting emotional and memory networks, modulating pain, rewiring pathways, and building resilience. For songwriters in Operation Song, turning stories into healing isn't just art, it's medicine, but not the kind that requires a prescription. It's optimal responding in action, transforming what happened to me into what I can create from it. And that shift, it reduces isolation, rebuilds identity, and literally changes the brain for the better. So whether you're dealing with chronic pain, post-traumatic stress, depression, life transitions, or caregiving demands, or maybe everyday challenges in the midst of your everyday life, remember, the next optimal response could be the spark that ignites creativity, eases mental fatigue, and supports physical healing through neuroplasticity. If you're ready to explore this, check out ORI workbooks or connect with Operation Song. Start small, maybe a playlist that feels like a lifeline, or jotting down lyrics to your own story. One breath, one choice, one note at a time. Thank you for joining me today. This is Dr. Christina Seymour, reminding you between stimulus and response is your power. Use it optimally. Until next time, stay alert, stay alive, and thrive. The training continues.